What's up, people? World famous Medford Peter. Happy Columbus Day. I got a theory on Columbus Day, though. You know, the history books, it all says Columbus set sailed on those, three ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Now, it's all good when Columbus is set sailing throughout, to go to America, but what happened to the other two ships? Didn't they sink or something? You're telling me Columbus made it all the way to a rocky island down on Plymouth and then all of a sudden wanted to call it Plymouth Rock because one rock was smooth? I've been down there on Plymouth Rock. Actually went down and looked. The city redid the shoreline and shit down in Plymouth and then put this rock, this smooth rock, and it's carved in the top of it, Plymouth Rock. You don't believe that shit, right? Because if you look past that rock out in the ocean, there's stones and boulders coming up through the, you know what I mean? I thought it was kind of hilarious. Yeah, Columbus. He supposedly discovered America in 1492. What happened to the Indians that were here before you there, Columbus? I mean, think about it. The Indians, they were here long before the Vikings. They were here long before all the bullshit. There was multiple tribes. These people went out and hunted and shit. You come over here, you bring some corn, a couple of other shit. You know, you're starving, trying to head up the Indian land, walking on Native American soil that's not yours, and then you want to claim it as yours. How do you claim an island and a whole country as yours, like you discovered it? You didn't discover America. You were just a guy that got on a boat, came all the way out here from England, wherever you're from. I think it was England. I don't even know. It could have been. Nah, it ain't Scotland. I don't remember Scotland. I think it was England. You want to get away from the king or whatever it was. Yeah, that's something like that. You know what's funny? Here it is on Columbus Day. You're gonna say Columbus really discovered America? You know who discovered America? The Indians. That's straight facts. The Indians were here before all that shit. You know who discovered America before the Indians? Any of you know? The dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were here long before the Indians. Shout out to the dinosaurs that actually were walking the earth. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's about right. The dinosaurs discovered it. The dinosaurs actually discovered America. You know what discovered America before the dinosaurs? Those things that you learn in your history books, atoms, molecules, photosynthesis shit. You used to put it in a petri dish in school and you look up and see what the cells are. Yeah. America started as an absolute cell. America actually started. You want to know about America? America actually started. If you follow that Discovery Channel shit, you'll realize we were just a rock. We were just a rock. Just to complete, as the Earth and the planets were forming billions of years ago, we was just a rock. We were just a particle of matter. Okay? The Earth was just a speck of dust. Spun around out in the atmosphere. There was no breathing fresh air back then. Nah, it was a rock. It was cold rock, too. This was such a cold rock. Let me tell you, it was so cold at one point. We were negative 50 million degrees at one point. You guys want to talk about Columbus? Let's talk about some real shit. Let's talk about how there was nothing here, and as the earth slowly, warmed up over millions of years, shit started growing. Well, in order for shit to start growing, you got to have some cells. And then, of course, there was probably a bunch of, what are those called? Asteroids? Yeah, that's it. A bunch of asteroids probably hit the Earth. And, asteroid hits a cold Earth. It, warms it up. Who's to say that the asteroids weren't warming up the Earth? We must have got bombarded with a bunch of asteroids because, you know what? Think about it. The Earth was 5 million degrees below zero at one point. After you warm up an atmosphere for so long and you get hit by a bunch of asteroids, eventually that's like nuclear explosions going off, and that heat and that fire warms up the planet. Now, if you really sit back and think of your history books, and you really sit back and think of, you know, somebody sent me a message, sorry. If you really sit back and think of your history books, you have to go back way before Columbus, because you know what? The asteroids discovered America before Columbus. I mean, think about it. Asteroids are pretty much what warmed up the Earth, caused some fire. That fire from those asteroids caused clouds. Those clouds build up volume. That warm atmosphere that got, that from those asteroids, you gotta think those are some major nuclear explosions that took place. Megaton craziness at its best, which then caused it to rain. When you cause like something to rain, because you're warming up the planet from asteroids, I mean, if you think the asteroids weren't warming up the planet, think twice. Look at your moon. The moon's got millions and millions and millions of craters on it from asteroids. So you're telling me way back pre-dawn time, asteroids didn't play a huge part in warming up the atmosphere of the Earth? Sure it did. Sure it did. There was planets that having like cosmic collisions out there billions of years ago. You sit there and you start thinking about what they say on Columbus Day, how Columbus discovered America. And then you'd say, okay, the Indians were here before that. The Vikings got here before Columbus. The aliens from the aliens from other worlds came here. The dinosaurs were floating on the Earth prior to that. And then you figure out, how did the dinosaurs get here? That's a good question. I'm going to say that dinosaurs got put here. Because you got to think about it. There was 2 sets of dinosaurs, too. Those that don't really know. You should watch the Discovery Channel and learn some shit. I watch Discovery every night. I get home at 11, 12 o'clock. I turn on TV. I'm always watching something. But there was 2 sets of dinosaurs, not just one set of dinosaurs. You had the pre-age dinosaurs that were prior to the Tyrannosaurus Rex and shit. The first set of dinosaurs actually looked like they were kind of friendly. I swear to God, I ain't making this up. Go watch Discovery. Go Google it. You think I'm making this up? I ain't making it up. It's actual real facts. Real facts. There was 2 sets of dinosaurs. 2 sets. The second set of dinosaurs actually got hit by a bunch of asteroids. Asteroids is what killed the dinosaurs. They had a couple of asteroids hit the Earth a couple of billion times back. And then, of course, the third set of dinosaurs is what you see today. Your alligators, your monkeys, different primates, different types of, shit that's in the ocean. Just because, shit swims in the ocean. I mean, think about it. Think about it. So for millions of years, there were superfish, and now all of a sudden the superfish die off. You know what's a good descendant of the dinosaurs? Swimming in the ocean today. It's called whales. You got to think about that. Think about where I'm going with this. Whales are in the Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, Antarctica. All these Antarctic oceans, all those oceans, there's whales out there. That's like the biggest swimming creature on the planet. Whales. But if you look at them, it's like why do we even have whales? I mean, think about it. Whales are like fossils in itself. I mean, they come up to breathe air every once in a while like everyone else, but they can go down there for a long time with no air, doing their thing, swimming in the ocean. But what in the world's a whale's purpose? And look at the thing. It's the most weirdest looking object on the planet. It looks like a blue turd, to be honest with you, that swims with a fin on the end. That's keeping it a whole stack. I'm not making that up. I'm not trying to be gross. I'm dead serious. You got a giant blue turd floating around in the ocean, swimming, and it eats other fish. But in reality, It's like a prehistoric descendant of the actual dinosaurs. And why would there be whales that are that big that are still alive today that look like they're the size of dinosaurs? You know what's funny? They weren't affected by the asteroids. I wonder about that. You ever sit there and just you have nothing better to do, like I had nothing better to do, and you just think all day long, and when you start thinking, you actually put together real facts? I started thinking about that. Whales is the last known creature left that's a direct descendant on the dinosaur. And how did these whales get to the size that they are? Because they're, half of a parking lot. I mean, you ever seen a whale's tail at the end? I mean, that thing's like 30 to 60 feet across. So you're telling me that's an animal, or I don't know what it is. That's a fish, an animal, mammal, whatever it is. Something that big is like the biggest creature on Earth, bigger than the hippo, bigger than the elephant. And it's swimming in the ocean. And that's not a direct descendant out of the dinosaurs. You know what's funny? When you start thinking of Christopher Columbus, right? And all your bullshit that they throw out there in the history books, how he discovered America, came over here on 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Marina, whatever the hell it was. And then all of a sudden, they try to tell you that, they had to build, they had to, find land, and how the king back home wanted them to pay homage and everything. Screw that. If you discover an island and you get to that island, you know what? And it's your island, you ain't paying nothing to nobody. That's your island. Columbus came here and said, you know what? Or whoever came with Columbus said, you know what? And you got to think about it. Columbus came on a ship, right? Along with these other 2 people. Those ships only held about 200 people each. So you're telling me 600 people came over here with Columbus, and other people didn't come after that? You're telling me 600 people put together colonies and, all that bullshit? And if he discovered America and Plymouth Rock was up here in Boston, why are they always talking about Washington and Virginia? Listen, we have a lot of historical people that were up here. John Adams. That would be John Quincy Adams. Not Sam Adams. That's a beer for those that haven't figured it out. But, you start thinking of all these people in your history books, who created electricity, who discovered America, who invented the flying car. You start thinking of people like this, the things that are out there. Some of you should appreciate the facts that none of this would be even possible if it wasn't for the dinosaurs getting killed by an asteroid. Could you picture Columbus coming to America and there'd be dinosaurs like he got here? Strange, funny-looking animals the size of, about 30 elephants put together walking around? Do you think the Tyrannosaurus Rex is going to come walking up? Yo, what's up, man? Did you bring me a couple of million bales of hay today? Because I'm not going to eat nobody. But shout out to you for coming to America. I'm just going to give you props. Bring me some bales of hay and I'll be eating whatever. Bring me a couple of large steaks so I don't eat the people. I mean, you start thinking of it. Looking at the concept of everything. Columbus never discovered America. It was cells. Cells meaning photosynthesis type cells. And how'd those cells get here? The asteroids that warmed up the Earth. So you know what? Shout out to the asteroids that discovered America. I know this is useless knowledge and you think I'm ranting, but I'm really not. See, you gotta think. Columbus is bullshit's history books and they teach you this shit in school because they want you to try to learn something. Before Columbus was the Vikings, but they don't want to talk about that because heaven forbid the Vikings look evil with those crowned horns and shit. And the Indians, well, they hunted, but they used to shoot and kill people with bow and arrows. And you know how that works. That's violence. And they don't want that violence in the history books right off the bat. They save their violence when they say that they had a revolution and they had to fight for land. Well, you fought for land, but you went after the Indians, and the Indians were here first. I mean, what are you fighting for land? And who are you fighting over the land with? If you came here to fight for the land, like you said in the history books of Columbus, right? You're fighting the Indians who already were here and had the land. So you pretty much took over and messed with the Indians. You know what the Indians had to fight? Prior to Columbus, the Indians had to fight not only each other, the Indians also had to fight to survive. And they actually made it through winters, and they actually grew up in teepees. And once they grew up in teepees and all that other shit, prior to the Indians, you had the nomad people. And I didn't talk about the nomads. You know why? Nomads had those brainiac super skulls. Like they were like cavemen. And you know where the caveman came out of? Caveman came out of the dinosaur age. So you know what? Cavemen were around when there were dinosaurs. First set of cavemen, which were nomads, actually got wiped out. Half you people don't even know that. You don't think about this shit. I sit here in the car all day, I think about it. You know what it comes down to? It comes down to you should thank the dinosaurs and celebrate Dinosaur Day, not Christopher Columbus Day. Because if it wasn't for the dinosaurs, and if it wasn't for the asteroids, all that bullshit you hear about, you wouldn't be here. All the bullshit in the textbooks about old ruins, old, the Sphinx, all that shit, they teach you that in the history books. You know, how the Egyptian pharaohs and all that shit, like, were like, get help from the higher gods. You know what's funny about that higher god shit? You go back to those ancient times of Egyptians, because that's, before the nomads and before everything else. You hear shit about the Egyptians and ancient tombs and all that. I don't care what you say. The aliens are what started life here. The aliens are what planted people here on the earth. The aliens, those real things, the ones with the UFO shit that you hear about, the people that see there's unidentified flying saucers and shit, that shit, Area 51 type garbage. You start thinking of that, and you wonder, how did we really get here? You know what's funny? Prior to all this shit, you got to think, the universe is a big place. There's multiple worlds. There's probably about 10 Earths just like this with other people on it, but they're not people. They're aliens. They have an advanced civilization time warp that they can travel through to get here. They've actually found beings at Area 51. And you wonder about this shit? No. You sit there at home, and the kids bring your home history books, and they want to talk about Columbus, old ruins, old tombs, all types of shit about the Sphinx, pharaohs, and then you hear about these gods. You know what's funny, I believe, about these gods? The gods are the aliens. The gods are the aliens. Anybody that's got common sense, if you always look at those pharaoh books and all those history books that talks about Egypt and all that shit, right? Because we're on a history lesson with Columbus, but I get into this. They always show this star or this beam of light coming from the sky. What's that beam of light from the sky? Those are the aliens that had advanced civilization that actually, I believe, put people on the earth. So the question is, how did the people really get on the earth? Because they try to say we got developed from apes, but you know what? What color are the apes? The apes are brown. The apes are, some of them are black, different kinds of apes, like gorillas. The apes are tan. Orangutans, those are tan. Tan/brown, red. So you're gonna tell me, if you look at everything in society the way it is today, Shit, they even got white monkeys. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm dead serious. They even got white monkeys. They're in Africa. They don't have them here. They live in tropical jungles. That's real shit. I know it. I've seen it on TV. So you're going to tell me man is actually developed from apes. You know what's funny about that? The apes were here before man. That's true shit. The question is, how did man actually get here? And how did man actually form? And how did the actual civilization that we have today actually get to where we're all talking and we're all humans? You know, it's weird when you sit back and you think of this shit. But what I just said in this video actually made sense. Think about it. Think about it. Where do we actually come from? It's not Adam and Eve. It wasn't Adam and Steve. It's not the Bible. Human race was came along way before the Bible. So who really discovered America? Shout out to the atoms, because when atoms multiply, they grow. When atoms combust and put together and have a reason to develop, it's like the sperm and the egg. You start off with a cell. Cells are what actually made America what it is today. Cells. You start with one cell. The cell germinates and the cell grows. As the cell grows, it spreads seed. When the seed spreads, it gets bigger. When it gets bigger, it develops. So you know who I actually firmly believe started all this? The aliens. Who said we're going to put cells everywhere. And now that the cells can breathe because of the oxygen due to the earth being warmed up by the asteroids that absolutely penetrated the earth, because there's craters everywhere that prove it and back it all up, along with the dinosaurs that have been through all this shit and everything else. And they're talking about millions of years ago with the dinosaurs. I'm talking about billions of years ago when the earth was formed. What it comes down to, we're all aliens. We're a direct breed over something that started a couple of billion years ago. We're a direct breed of what started years ago when cells could actually be formed. And we actually are aliens that come from some far off planet, because there's no way in the world man can develop off of a monkey. That's bullshit. I actually firmly believe somewhere genetically people were created in a different world, a different lifetime, a different atmosphere altogether, not even near Earth, and planted here as a colony of people in a warmer climate when the Earth was adjusted, when they actually could hold down some heat. Because don't forget, in the old history books, Earth was warm year-round. North America, Canada, all those countries around the world, there was no such thing as snow, except for in the North Pole. But you got to Canada, it was 75 degrees 7 days a week. The Earth changed twice. The Earth has changed twice. You hear about glaciers that came down in the, polar caps that swallowed half the United States, and then the Earth warmed up a little bit more and it started going backwards. That's because they made a mistake. The aliens made a mistake. The Earth was too warm in the beginning. It was too warm in the beginning. Then a set of asteroids came, wiped out the first set of dinosaurs. The second set of dinosaurs came afterwards. Those were a genetic plant too, put up by the aliens. Let's try different kinds of dinosaurs, because there was two sets of dinosaurs. The dinosaurs you see today, the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the saber-toothed tiger and all that bullshit that they showed you can get out of the La Brea tar pits and all that other crap that they found, and they found different parts of that. All that shit, guess what? That's real facts. But they fucked up on the elephant, though, because there's your third set of dinosaurs. Your dinosaurs you have today: elephants, rhinoceros, whales that still survived all those years. What's the other one? Oh, yeah. Elephants, rhinoceros. There's another one, another big. Oh, yeah, elephants. You know what about elephants? There's the third set of dinosaurs. Those are like dinosaurs. They're like living dinosaurs today, much smaller breed, right? But you got to think of something. Even though the elephant today is a smaller breed, they had the woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth was a screw-up. I'll tell you how it's a screw-up. You have a direct elephant and you have a woolly mammoth. All it is one with fur, one without. You know, when they genetically screwed up the woolly mammoth, those woolly mammoths lived in colder weather when those polar caps were going on years ago. When the polar caps, they said, let's make these big animals try to survive. Well, what the hell are they surviving on? Ice? Woolly mammoths were around when there was blizzards in all those countries and blizzards in Canada and all the ice age shit. That's when the woolly mammoth came, when there was the ice age problem. That's set of dinosaurs number 3. Set of dinosaurs number 4 is what you got today. Like I said, the elephants, the rhinoceroses. I mean, back then you heard about pterodactyls in the old ancient times when there were dinosaurs. Big birds that flew. What do you got today? What's the biggest bird today they got? Ostrich? Hello? Yeah, an ostrich. Ostrich is the size of a car. Half a car. But it's real shit. So know your history books, because Columbus really didn't discover America. Columbus was just a bunch of bullshit for the history books. The aliens are what actually discovered America. The aliens are what actually brought us here. The aliens used Earth as a genetic growth plate to see what the civilization would do by planting certain trial and errors here on the United States. That's true shit. The aliens put the dinosaurs here. The aliens did not one set of dinosaurs, not 2 sets of dinosaurs, 3 sets of dinosaurs, and they finally got it right when they got rid of the woolly mammoths. Because all the woolly mammoths died off. What'd they die off from? Oh yeah, an asteroid. You always hear how the Earth's going to get destroyed one day by an asteroid, and how man's going to get wiped out. Think about how many sets of man have been here. You had the nomads, you had cavemen, you had the Vikings, you had the Indians. As time went on, now you got more. You got Columbus. That was the first set of generation. Then you ended up with like the John Adams Network. Every year, something else. Every 100 years, a new set of people come along. In the early 1800s, it was about, technology, building cars, finding the electric light bulb, all that shit. Today, now they're finding out how to capitalize and make the power better. Your cell phone that I'm on right now is a perfect example. They started with a handheld device and a wire. Now that wire don't need a wire. You can now do it technology. Technology tells you can do this shit with the phone. That's real shit. It's real shit. And every so often the aliens come just to see what we're doing, and they put crop circles on all those deserts just to send everybody a message. And it's a message. You look at those crop circles, it has something to do with the stars and the alignment that's going on in the sky, and it's messages from above. You don't believe that shit? It's okay. It's real shit, real facts. So how did we really get here? We were put here. Somebody grew us on a petri dish in the alien world and said, we're going to transform this place. Because we didn't do it on our own. And this bullshit about photosynthesis happening here in the United States, who would be around to know how to build cells so we could create life? Life was started by the aliens of a technology world and used us as an experiment. Don't be fooled by what you see and hear. But if you sit back and analyze what I just said, you'll know that I'm right. Like, comment, and subscribe. Sorry the video's 30 minutes, but you know what? It's real facts. Look it up. Don't believe me? Look it up. Really research how you got here. I bet you can't even find it on the internet. How did man start? How did real man start? I just told you. We were brought here by the aliens. We're an experiment. They helped build and develop us somewhere else, put man and woman somewhere, probably a whole flock of them that they put together so they got it right. And once they got the genetic form of man right, they stuck us on this place called Earth and said, let's see how they act and what they can do. Let's see how they can function. Can they survive? Real facts, people. Think about it. Think about how I said it. Let your brain work today when you think it's all about Columbus. Columbus is bullshit. Shout out to the aliens who really discovered America and used us as plants. That's Real Topics. Share this video. Like, comment, subscribe. It actually makes sense of the way I said it, too. Have a wonderful Columbus Day. Actually, happy Alien Day, because that's where you come from. Don't believe the bullshit on Columbus. You were created by aliens. Aliens who made us in our own little petri dish back in their own world and put about 1,000 people on this planet called Earth. Made up multiple different colors and atmosphere-like areas. Because you think they made just one color alien? You think the aliens made us one color? We were planted in sections of the world to see how we would grow. They made black, they made Indian, they made white, they made Chinese, they made Oriental, they made Indian, they made different atmospheres of aliens and dropped groups in different sections of the continents. Once they were able to sustain life and knew that the oxygen they were breathing was actually going to work. Think about it. Can't be wrong, it's never talked about. But they always talk about gods from the sky. How do you think we got here? Those people in Egypt, why do you think they liked Egypt so much? Egypt was the focus point from gods from the sky. Sorry. Egypt was the focus point from gods of the sky. Because it was a warm climate and it was desert. What about the rest of the world? How'd the rest of the world get here? We were planted here by aliens. Given our different languages and set up genetically. Let's see how people react from one another once we finally discover each other. That's real shit. I believe that. Think about the way I said it. You have a wonderful day. Like, comment, subscribe. World famous Met for Peter. Happy Alien Columbus Day. Because that's what you should be celebrating. Shout out to the aliens that put us here. If you don't understand this video, go back and rewatch it. I just gave you a whole rundown on revolution. And you know what? When it comes down to the end of the day, it's real facts. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. You know why? What I just said really actually is going to hit home with a lot of people. Talk to you all later.